So how are you gonna make the audiences care about what happened before Superman? Right. People care about Superman, but
Well, by basically changing what you think you know about Krypton and how it ends.
okay.
In the pilot episode, we will immediately change everything you think you know about the end of the story. It's a big mandate for us. Of course, I mean, everyone's like, well, it blows up. Why do I care? Why would I care about any of this? It's very important to us to make the stakes of Krypton speak directly to the present. Otherwise, why are we telling you? I think, by the way, a good corollary is what JJ did with that first reboot of Trek. In the first 10 minutes, you're like, this just wipes it all clean. We're aiming for a similar kind of high-impact thing with Krypton, where from the get-go, this is not just sort of like a weak-ass prequel. We are like, it is about here and now. It is about rewriting the fate of Krypton, rewriting the fate of Superman, and bringing you very close to stories that tell how did Superman get his DNA of being a champion of truth and justice. It wasn't just the Kents, it's in his DNA. He is part of this amazing great generation on a planet that is teetering on the edge of totalitarianism, authoritarianism, oppressor being squeezed. I don't know if you guys can relate to any of this. Okay? Yeah, a little bit. We wanted, look, all brilliant sci-fi is about here and now. We want Krypton to give you that. We've grown up with this IP. I think it's really time to give it that kind of real gut-punching impact. So it's not just up and away. It's also about a struggle and how heroes are born.
Well, we've seen Krypton as usually a sci-fi story, or Superman's a sci-fi story, but there's always been kind of a medieval quality, and I'm hearing words like theocracy.
Yes.
So I'm wondering how much are you pulling from kind of medieval fantasy?
I'd say we are thematically, but not practically. Here's why. I think there's something about the wonderful collision of kind of that medieval black and white, upper class, lower class, your life is cheap unless you're highborn. What happens when your life is made cheap once you're highborn, you fall. But I think the complexities of a civilization that in all its advancement has found a way to exist in a very harsh climate. And what happens when you are trying to justify essentially inhumane politics for the sake of the survival of a civilization? What is the breaking point when the everyman suffers so that, theocracy can live? There's a stress point at which the needs of the many and the needs of the few begin to break. And I think that's where our story begins. And then it gets even more fascinating when we realize that there's so much more at stake than just Krypton.
Where are you going as far as you can do like serialized story versus telling from a global scale for the planet, or versus character? Because
always character right at the heart. We want to tell every season is like one big epic story. I really think of it like, here's your 10-issue run of this, the battle for Kandor City. Sid. They write it down. I write it down. That's our first season, and within that, we have a huge mandate at a global scale. Reset the stakes, upend what you think you know about Krypton and how it ends, and then this is the cool part, and I can't really tell you more, so don't ask me to name drop because I will not do it. But we are going to bring in DC characters that fans know and love. They will be on Krypton, they will come to Krypton, and it'll be very unexpected and blow minds. But look, I've done enough genre, I've done enough TV to know, but especially genre, that people will always show up just to check out the high concept thing. I'll go see the Stargate, it's a big relic, it flushes sideways. Cool. They don't stay unless they fall in love with those characters. So for me, as a writer, a creator, world building is really fun, but if it doesn't have real blood and heart flowing through it, you just built the trade set in your basement that no one cares about. But it has to breathe.
But speaking of world building, the teaser looked darker, like the movies, rather than maybe lighter, like Smallville, like brighter, like Smallville or something.
Very much.
Is the look going to be in alignment with the movies on purpose, or is it its own look, but it's just a little more?
It's its own look. It's definitely less of that kind of like blue sky Earth, the Berlanti-verse, which is has its own voice and tone. We're seeking our own tone, which is a bit more cable, skews a bit more adult. I don't think it's not going to turn into like Stephen King's Krypton. It's not going to do that. Yeah, it's going to be much more a lived-in world. I think that the world of Krypton, especially down in the rankless district, will feel a lot more like Rogue One, or the way Hearts of Force Awakens. It's wonderful and cool, but it's very lived in. It feels like it's been there a long time. I think that we want to feel immersed. I think that's what really good features do, is that you build a world, you make it lived in, and then you take the camera off the tripod and you're in it. And suddenly you feel like you're living in a real world. So Krypton's got to have that vibrant immediacy. It's a little bit less slick, a touch darker, but a bigger scope. Everything has to look like, oh my God, here we are, there they are. And I think that's the big difference.
So Cameron told us that the event began with the possibility of not Superman being born.
Yes.
So it's like that sci-fi thing, like what if you travel back in time and kill Hitler, for example?
Yes.
But in a bad way.
That is definitely a big part of it. And what happens if that doesn't happen? Who would come back and try to do that? What happens when you learn about the legacy of your family before it even exists? Who are your allies? Who are those villains? What do they really want? What's so important about Krypton? Why the House of El? And who sends people back? Who wants what? These are the mysteries of the show. And it feels like it is absolutely living and breathing in the present mythos of Superman, even though we are back in this other world. So that, to me, that's a really wonderful. That's what sci-fi can do. Is it can bend it can become a hybrid of a past-present story, and I think it's really fresh.
Thanks,
So
guys.
you could say it's
Thank you,
like
guys.
Terminator's Krypton.
That's it.
Jeff Johns at DCEntertainment.com.
Thank you.
Damien Kindler.